Okay, we've come down into this old mine right here, and what we're going to be doing, these were drift mines, and what we're going to be doing is Mr. Box is headed that way for an old drift mine opening, and it's about 600-700 feet to get to the original openings. So we're back in the deep recesses of this mine. So you can see these are the rails, hoist cable. So there's mining artifacts all in this mine. So anyway, so I'm going to proceed to follow Mr. Box as he heads this way, and this should lead to an original drift mine opening, and there should be some more. So we're probably 600 feet plus back in. We came in through an alternate route, so we've been wanting to check this out for a while. So okay, we'll see what we can find. Okay, you can see how low the headroom is with Mr. Box, and so we're coming. Can't remember how all these are configured, so we're just going to check each one of them out, make our way down to these breakthroughs right here. But the headroom is really low. If Mr. Box is bending over, it's low. So we're going to check this out. It may dent in. That's okay. We'll just keep dropping down. So okay, on to the next one here. Okay, we're coming in to check this out. It's a little better headroom, and you can see where the minecart rails were right here. So they carved out a little bit taller, but coming up to where the minecart rails are, and this would have led right to the outside right here. You see there's a little can right there. So anyway, it curves on around here, and so that curves on around here to go to the outside there. But you can see the minecart rows, and you can see how this is maybe 4 feet of headroom. So when these guys were pushing these little mine carts, they were literally horizontal, pushing them out. So we'll go up here and check a little bit more here. Okay, well, the opening is closed. I mean, it must really not have been a big opening, but it's closed right there. So we're gonna backtrack and head to the next one. But it's really neat. The minecart rails, these go back to the 1890s. This is an 1890s drift mine. So pretty awesome. Some pretty colors in here. So. All right, we'll head on to the next one here. Okay, we've got the breakthrough heading down to the other one. And these are intact minecart rail sections here. And you can see at one time they had a little wooden timber support. So just think that piece of timber is probably 130 years old. So this was an early 1890s mine. There's a whole underground mine complex. They all were interconnected by what they called upstarts, and you can commonly call it a breakthrough. So, and there's little sections. We're gonna drop down here to this next level. There's a pipe there, but there's little sections of a minecart, probably the bottom end of the frame or something. You can see that's it. Actually still has some of the wood attached to it. So, all right, Mr. Box, he's headed on down. So we'll keep heading down and see what else we can find. But part of a bottom frame of a mine cart, still with the wood. So, all right. Okay, there's the mine cart rails right there from where it was. All right, and this right here is a upstart or breakthrough, if you want to call it. Leads down to the next section, and this is a probably a water pipe, maybe, or air compressor. But this is actually the remains of a shovel right here, a miner's shovel. And sometimes you come across these in the mines. You know, if you touch them, they'll just break. But I turned this over, and it's in really good shape. So that's just like some guy. Read with the they would be long-handled shovels, and to use them in the mines, they would cut the handle in half, because you can see by the ceiling, height of the ceiling, you can bring a full-size shovel in here. So they would cut the wood off in half, the handle, so to use it in a mine like this. But we'll be heading on down this way. Okay, there's Mr. Box, and just I don't know, we just have to have some kind of uncanny thing. Well, this is the remains of a moonshine still back in here. You can see they had the mash pot or whatever. They'd stacked up these things, and that's charcoal.
Yeah,
burned from the wood. So they might have had this pipe right here, some of these other pipes, you know, because you got to have water for the moonshine. But somebody was industrious to come all the way back in here to do this. So I don't know, we seem to be batting 1,000 on finding moonshine still remains. So
now I will say this is the first moonshine remain that they use charcoal.
yeah, there's no barrel rings. So,
None at all.
So boys would have had a hard time pushing a barrel in here.
For sure.
So
See your charcoal remains right there. They would have the moonshine still set up right there.
okay, we're coming up to check another one of these openings. These are all closed, but we were just curious to see what we might be able to find. So you got sections of rails right here. Intact wooden timber support still in place, 120, 30 years old. Right there, still in place. Some miner brought that in here and wedged it up in there. So, all right.
Dead end right there.
Yeah, this one dead ends. There's no out. That's actually rail spikes. This was a little minecart cross tie right here. So we'll this one dead ends right here, but we'll drop down to the next one here. And
What that tells me though, that moonshine still being right there, they brought it in from one of these headers.
could have been from the one we just came down from, or from one below.
You see the spike still in that
Yeah,
tie right there?
it's pretty neat.
Yeah. Now what's interesting is that's not like your normal.
Okay, we've just dropped down into another section here, and got upstarts, breakthroughs. It's pretty wide. Mining remains everywhere. So we're going to push on to the left here and see what's down there at the end. Okay, this work section dead in it, so I dropped through this breakthrough. Mr. Box is up there doing a little filming. So, like I said, this will just keep going down, down, down. And so this is another section. All these drift mines were interconnected. So you've got these huge worked out areas. And it's kind of hard to believe this went back to the 1890s. So, hey, at least you don't have to slide to get through that.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man, yeah. So, we'll proceed on down and check this one out.
I'm gonna go back over here, go through the breakthrough and grab my backpack.
I understand.
And I'll check and see if there's anything leading back that way that's of interest.
I got you. All right, now we'll check this out. Okay, that's a look way back down there where it dropped in from, way back there. So, it's a broken piece of something right there, but that's another breakthrough heading down into yet another lower section. And way back there in the distance where that light is, that's Mr. Boggs. You can see how they just worked this whole thing out. So the minecart rails will be down here on the bottom with the little minecarts. So the miners will be up here literally with picks. They had pneumatic drills. You can see the marks. And when they would, when that iron ore, red ore would break loose, what they did, they literally just rolled it down here. And a guy would pick up the iron ore, pieces of iron ore, put it in a minecart, 1, 2, or 3, and they would literally have to push this out. Now, these drift mines extend for over 600 feet in length, and then they break, and then they keep going. So the farthest distance that they go is about 1,500 feet. That's no joke. That's no joke. About 1,500 feet. We're just in one of the sections. So in distance, I'm talking about 1,500 feet. But anyway, I'll make my way down there to Mr. Box. But ceiling's about a good 4 feet, maybe 5 feet. So these guys really had it rough, man, to do this for just a few cents a ton, because they got paid by the ton back in the 1890s. So, but very, very well preserved mine, or series of mines, I should say. So, all right, we'll head on down there to where the light is. Okay, so we just came over this huge wall. The pipeline goes up under the wall and keep going down into the mine. So we're going to be heading up this way. But Mr. Box has discovered something. Look at that. It still turns. Now that is incredible.
That is.
That is incredible. Oh, here's something very interesting. Stockham Valves and Fittings of Birmingham. That is a Stockham Valves and Fitting pipe section right there. Right there, Stockham. Keeping it local. So that's pretty cool. Okay, and we'll be making our way on up, following the pipeline. Okay, we just came over that There's a wall down there. Come up to this breakthrough, and you've got a worked out section with some rails. There's drill marks right there. Some kind of nail or something in the wall. And those are drill mark remains. And this right here is a big gate valve. Right here. Pretty impressive. So, who knows how in the world they got these pipes in here. I mean, I'd love to know the system of how they did it, because this was a backbreaker, man. I mean, because this pipeline goes down for, down to the deep parts of the mine, probably 1,500, 2,000 feet. Easy.
And that would have to be brought in sections.
Oh, yeah, look. And these are big sections right here. So, huge couplings. I mean, this is early 1900s, man. No later than maybe 1920. This style of flange, and those are square bolts. You don't see those very rarely, square bolts. So, all right, and we're gonna head down this way, right there. Okay, this is looking back on the pipeline right here that we're checking out, and we came from that direction down there, and right behind us it'll curve. But we wanted to check out this section of the mine here. We hadn't been up there in a long time, so anyway, we'll follow it on up. Okay, we've been exploring this old mine here, and right here, these are water pipelines. Go back into the distance right there, and some poor suckers had to lay these a long time ago, because these are easily about 100 years old. And so this was a water pipeline, because they always had water in the mines, whether it was a coal mine, iron ore mine. You hit underground aquifers, and when you hit one, you had to immediately start pumping it out and have a sump pump that just kept operating 24/7, because if you shut it off, once you hit that aquifer, that section of the mine would flood and the water could creep up to different upper levels. So this is an impressive underground water pipeline heading up into another old section of the mine right there. So anyway, Okay, this water pipeline right here, this actually they actually installed this in an old slope mine that they put out of service. So, they just converted it like many of the mines did. They converted old slope mines, man, and material way passages, and they converted them into water pipeline ways. So, you can see this water will probably never stop running, and you can see how this was a slope mine, because the rails curve off, and this was actually the main slope right here. You can actually see the old minecart cross ties right there. And they put this pipe in, they just, to balance it, they just use rocks. But very impressive right here. Alright, head on up to the top. Okay, you can see they had painted an arrow right there on the ceiling. This also served as an emergency exit too. So, who knows how old that's lead-based paint orange. But anyway, look it down. Alright, we'll film a little more when we get up there to the top. So it's raining inside the mine. Right there. There's an underground spring above us. Underground aquifer. So it never stops. So you see the old minecart cross ties, because this was a slope mine. Going back to the early 1900s. And in later years, they converted it to a man of materials way, and then they converted it into for carrying the water pipeline. And it also, when the mine was in operation, it still served as an escape way for the miners. If there was any trouble with the mines down below or on the main slope, they could come out this way. And we'll keep heading up top there. Okay, we're nearing the top right here with those big heavy wooden beams behind Mr. Box that led out to the opening. So this pipeline goes for a good ways down this old slope mine. So you got all kind of debris in here before they closed it up. Anyway, very historic mine, just totally blocked off. Now, been that way for 40 years maybe. So, okay. Okay, this would have been right here. This would have been heading outside, and you can see they stacked the rock walls. Look at these heavy timber supports right here, still in place. What are those? I mean, 12 by 6s or something. But anyway, you can see that stacked rock wall right there. See if I can get up here. And this would have headed probably another 40, 50 more feet. It would have, it would have headed outside. But you can see how they really had this braced up because it was getting near the opening. So had these heavy, looks like, I don't know what size limit, maybe that's 12 by 3s on top for the roof support. These look like 6 by 12s. But they stacked all these rocks in here and made it look really nice. Yeah. Boy, did that thing collapse. It's thought that they blew the entrance of this mine because that's why they just caved in. Okay, and that's some of the original rails that would head to the right header, where Mr. Box is. He's playing with some boxes, of course. That's the slope. And this is the remains of the water pipeline right there. So, very interesting. A lot of junk down in here. People just threw in here. So. Okay, we're gonna say goodbye to this Manway, Escape Way, and Water Pipeline Way. We just wanted to, this was in another section of this old mine, and we thought we'd just make a side detour and check it out. So, it's a pretty steep angle. Mr. Box is going down. You really gotta watch how you step going down. But anyway, really neat. Okay, we'll wind it up here.